Hello everyone, my name is Sarah and I'm here to give a presentation about how it's like to be a game developer in Mexico. So thank you very much Pathfinding for giving me this spot, not only me but all the game developers from the Global South. Let's start. So I'm going to start talking a little bit about me. My name is Sara Farga, I'm 23 years old. I was born in Jalisco, Mexico, and I graduated from Universidad Iberoamericana Puebla with a degree in animation and interaction design. So basically, I was taught to do animation in motion graphics, a little bit of, traditional animation, and I took some courses on video game developing in Unity. So that was cool, that was fun. I have a little bit of design, the background, graphic design. So I know a little bit about everything, but yeah. And I'm of course Ogre Pixel's PR. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of who is Ogre Pixel. Well, it's a video game development company in Aguascalientes, Mexico, and it's been around since 2014. We have developed many games like Black Tower Enigma, Swipe Casters, Warrior Defenders, Maze Quest, Pixel Stars, Jumper John. That was, fun fact, was launched as the initial 100 titles on the Apple Arcade. And the game we are currently developing is Lonesome Village. I'm going to talk about a little bit of that later. So, why are we here? I'm going to tell you what it's like to be a game developer in Mexico. So first, college. What I was telling you is that I was teaching college about, a little bit of animation, interaction, design, and communication. And if I decided I could take video games as elective. But why is this relevant to this presentation? In North America and Europe, they have a very different type of education where they teach you about specific places to get specific jobs in the game industry. In Mexico, we don't have that, and in other places, we don't have that. So basically, what I'm telling you is that, in the US, let's give an example. We have a career to game designers, software developers, and computer programmers. You can study animation or other artists, audio engineers, writers, interpreters, and translators, video game testers, and technical support specialists, and many, many more. I searched a little bit of what are the college universities you can teach this. These are some that I find, the University of South California, Utah Salt Lake City, the NYU, the Oxford, University of Rotterdam in Netherlands, and many more. If you look how many universities around, the globe have a specific career for game designing, you will find a lot, but none are in Mexico. So in the last couple of years, Mexico have starting to incorporate a little bit of, more specific career for game design. And that's been really cool, but it's still very, very young. The video game industry in Mexico is still very young. We are like the first generations that we are actually getting these types of careers. So why is that? Why is the video game industry in Mexico really young? What's happening? Well, first of all, we have culture issues. Video games have come a long way. Here you can see, in the 70s and 80s, we had Tetris, Space Invaders, Pong, and Pac-Man. Then later, around the 80s and 90s, we had some platforms like fighting games, shooters, like Duck Hunt, Punch-Out, Street Fighter, Fatal Fury, Donkey Kong, and Mario, and some adventure like Zelda. But later, we have all this stuff that you can see. We have action adventure, role-playing, sports, MMO, strategy, typing games, our open world simulation, role-playing, and many more. And in that genres of games, we have subgenres. So it became a lot. We have a very big, types of games for every type of gamer out there. And also, around the 2010, the indie games industry have come a long way too. And now we have, a lot of recognition with indie games like, Undertale, Snap, Cuphead, Stardew Valley, Celeste. Uh, video games made by one or two people that just had this dream about making a game, and they really had a good success. So that's really cool. We have now the internet, we have a big platform, and that has come really good. That's helped a lot of the video game industry. But what happens in Mexico? Later, past generations have still stuck in that video games are just platformers, fighting games, and shooters. They are aware that there are more types of games, but when they think about video games, they think about these three types of video games. Platforms are okay, but when you think about fighting games and shooters, they have this type of mentality that they get stuck. And they get this idea. It's really common. It's not only in Mexico. You can see in the US and many places we have discussed this before. But video games encourage violence. This is what it has been said. In Mexico, recently, in the last few months, we actually had a debate because it became like a topic we all talk about, because they started to say that the violence in children in Mexico was because of video games. So this is something that is a real issue, because not only there's a misunderstanding of how many types of video games exist, how many types of players there exist. There are only killers, different types of players. There are also achievers, explorer, and socializer, and many, many more. So there's this idea that there only exist people who want to, get high scores or shooting games or something like that, when there are many, many more types of gamers. You want to go play some Animal Crossing simulation, you want to do something of cooking or a racing game, or go chat with your friends and have fun. When they think about video games, they don't think about those video games. And I honestly also saying shooters and fighters are not a bad thing either. But it has been proven that it doesn't make people violent. You know what I'm going for. And there's a part of ignorance about video games and the community. There's also this idea that the video game community have this, idea that they can be really violent and all the stuff. It can get really aggressive. And there's not the thing at all. There's a lot of more about this that we should talk about. Another thing that is making, the video game industry in Mexico a little bit overlooked is that in Mexico it's pretty much ignored how much profitable it is to the economy actually. It's something that in the economy has a lot of value, the video games, and is really profitable. So, but they have this idea still that, video games, they are not taken seriously, when they should be taking it seriously a lot, because they actually can help a lot in the economy. And especially we have a lack of support in Mexico. What I said before, video game industry is not taken seriously. It's still very young, and we still are in the first generations where we had parents and people who are working in the video game industry, and if they had other people that want to learn, the children and stuff, they can teach them. But we're still in that phase, now with esports and all of this stuff, we're getting more recognition, but we still have a very long path to go. Also, universities still have these old techniques because they don't have a lot of support in the video game industry in Mexico. Something that has helped a lot of video games developers in Mexico are tools like Unity and Unreal. They can make, their own video games. They learn from YouTube, from themselves, and they are free. So a lot of video game, creators have started to, make games, not because they were taught in university or in a specific place, they learn by themselves, by, the internet, or just for a hobby. So that's something that is really cool, but also like, it could be better. And we have to learn by ourselves. We don't have like a path to learn, and it's just try and error, and see how it is to be a video game developer in Mexico, and see how things work with no one to teach us, with not a path to learn. We only thing we can do is to learn by ourselves. Another thing I want to talk about is that something that really happens in Mexico too, is something I also have to learn, that is, Mexico only can create games about their culture. That's not true. There is this idea that, okay, if some Mexican developers want to make a game, it has to be about something about Mexico, about our culture. We have a very rich culture. So we normally do that because we have so much to teach. But there's this stigma that we should only create these types of games, and in reality, our possibilities are as open as everyone else. If you want to create a game about animals, a racing game, an adventure about, magic and fairies and stuff, it doesn't have to be necessarily about, our country. We can create any types of game we want. We like to add a little bit of wings, of our culture in our game, in a game we are making right now, which is Lonesome Village, we have created some characters in our game, like Atsin, is a jolote, and Cholo, that is a Cholo Squinkle. We created them because, we wanted to create them, but it's not, we didn't do it because we felt obligated to. It's just something we want. And it's something it should be taught to other cultures, that, well, other countries, that we can make video games that doesn't resemble our culture. We can make every type of game we want, like other types of video game developers. So, as Mexican game developers, what do we do to get noticed if we don't get, these type of support or knowledge other countries have? Well, we go around looking for events a lot. Events are our number one priority when we are making a game, next to making the game. We go to looking for events, contests, and trying to make our game to stand out so people can see it. We don't have, that much publishing at all, like AAA games. Not at all. So we have to go around trying to make our game be visible to all these people. We try to follow trends. Now on TikTok, we are making some animations about our game Lonesome Village. We see what is trending and we make some animations, so people can see it more. We use hashtags on Twitter and, social media to get noticed. We look around for opportunities a lot. We go knocking doors with investors and, people who will be interested in our game. So we really have to work hard. That's something I think it's true about, not only Mexican video game developers, but also people who is in the global south. We have to make a bigger effort to get our games to succeed and get noticed. We have a lot of support from the community and other devs. Something we have made actually in our company, Ogre Pixel, it's that we have, make like a little group every month with other game developers, Mexican game developers. And, we talk about our projects and all of this stuff. And we try to help each other. We give advice, we share their projects, and we try to, help ourselves. Also, something that really helped us out is the Kickstarter. So when you want to make a game and you need a little bit of resources, you make a Kickstarter. And we were actually really, really lucky, and we are really grateful that our game Lonesome Village hit the goal in the Kickstarter in less than 24 hours. So the community and the people in the internet, all these gamers, all these people really are the difference when you are a developer, not only in Mexico, but all around the globe. But especially if we are talking about developers of the global south, they really make the difference. So, in summary, being a game developer in Mexico is hard. It's really hard, but it's not impossible. If you really want to make it and you find a really good team and you work really hard and have this look for this support not only in the video game community, but you go around knocking doors and really trying to get your game to succeed, it's really possible to make a living about video games. Also, something that is really important is that you need to go around and learn how to move and look for opportunities everywhere. Go around looking for contests, looking for events where you can showcase your game. And that's something that really helps out. We recently participated in the Steam Next Fest and Tokyo Game Show, and that really, really helped our wish list. So that's something really important that you have to take in mind. And I think here's the most important part. We need to help each other, encourage to look for indie games from less privileged countries. If you are someone who's really into video games, and especially indie games, you should really try to give it an opportunity to these, indie games that come from other places, other types of games. Try to give it a chance to all these types of people who make games. And try to, look for something new, look for something you are not used to, and you can really help out and find something you will really like, that it's maybe not so popular, but you will find like a gem if you look around a lot. So that's all. Thank you very much for being around here, and Pathfinding GS for giving me this place to talk about this. You can follow us in our, social media, Ogre Pixel. I will leave it here. And you can find me, like Sarah Farga, in Instagram and LinkedIn. So thank you very much. And yeah, goodbye.